To clarify, you're asking how can somebody know if they are a woman?
And how can I know if that person is a woman? If not by the physical attributes, their natural and enduring biological sex. What's the alternative to that?
So my response to you is then a question of, what is the purpose of knowing another person's sexual
there
identity?
you are.
But let me finish.
Yeah.
If it's not for the premise of reproduction, and there's no need to relate outside of that, then I don't quite understand why we would need to question or.
So this is what happens whenever you ask a transgender activist to explain even the basic premise of the movement, is they'll immediately say, well, who cares? Why are you so obsessed with this? I'm not obsessed with this. I'm not the one who started sending men into the women's bathroom and taking away their trophies and castrating kids. I'm perfectly happy with the way things have worked for thousands of years. It is the transgender activists who are trying to upend everything. And so I think it is at least my right to ask the question, okay, what is the premise of your movement? But they always deflect from that. They always withdraw from the debate. They always try to change the subject because there is no answer. So you ask me, well, what's the purpose of, why do you even care? What's the purpose of knowing someone's biological sex? Well, for starters, because we have civil rights specifically for women in the United States. We have special bathrooms for women. We have special sports leagues for women. We have all sorts of special places and rights and privileges and that are for women that are not for men. So if now some men, people who at the very least appear to be men, are claiming a right to go into those women's bathrooms, then we either have to abolish all of the special rights and privileges that have existed for women for all of human history and are enshrined in our law, or they need to explain to me how those men are actually women. And they can't do the latter, and I'm not willing to do the former, and I don't think women across this country are willing to do the former, even if a few people have been so ideologically blinded that they would give into this kind of an absurdity.
You know, I was thinking the same thing too. When she went ahead and answered his question, or tried to answer the question, he had asked her, how do I know if a person is a woman? That was his question to her. And she dodged the question, couldn't answer it, and instead asked him a question, well, why should that matter to you? But he called her out on it. He kind of laughed and chuckled and said, whenever you ask a transgender activist to explain the premise of their movement, their response is always, why should that matter to you? Why should that matter to you? They don't have an answer for it. It's always about, you shouldn't care. Just let it happen. Just let transgender take over women's rights, so to say. Because he pointed that out. He goes, now we've come so long. We have a private bathroom for women, women's sports. And now it's all being taken away because men who decide that they're women jump into women's sports and take over now. And they also can just walk into a woman's bathroom because they say they're transgender. And we're not supposed to, our feelings should not matter. Like if we feel very awkward, or if we feel unsafe, or we feel like unsettling, women's feelings in this conversation is not even to be talked about, and that's pretty sad.